You would think that chaos has ended in this world and we'd go back to normal. Well, that's not happening. Today we are talking about Kiara Watkin briefly before I get to my main point of the video, which will be towards the end. So please make sure, should you wish to, stick around for that. So Kiara Watkin is a trans identified man. And yes, in this case, I am using this term because, well, this could potentially go down as a female crime. Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters, not by myself. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, switch on the notification bells so that you know I am releasing another video. Thank you to everyone who's joined me already. I cannot run this channel without you. Please do keep it friendly in the chat. And as an advisory, I am letting you know this is a very sensitive subject that we are covering today. If you do not know, then let me explain to you. Kiara Watkins and the victim in question met over Snapchat. That's how they were talking. Kiara failed to disclose, actually. I should use the correct word, failed to disclose that they were trans. You heard it. And in the eyes of the law, this has been seen as SA. Kiara was found guilty by a jury. I would not be reporting on this case had the verdict not yet already been reached. Now, I'm going to read an article from the Daily Mail. Please note the language because I will get to this later on in the video as well. And it's something that I see very commonly across all forms of media when it's being reported on crimes similar to this. I'm not out to get the Daily Mail. It's an observation. I think it's something that happens across board quite a lot. Okay, let's get into it. Trans woman who concealed gender before performing S act on man is found guilty of SA. And yes, I will be doing abbreviations, but I will be keeping in pronouns. So this is a picture of Kiara Watkin. Now, I can tell that this person is a man biologically. I can see it. A transgender woman who concealed her gender before performing a S act on a man has been found guilty of SA. Kiara Watkin, 21 of Stockton-on-Tees, was found guilty of multiple charges relating to S acts she performed on the 21-year-old man over a number of days in June 2022. The SA charges were brought at Teesside Crown Court today, several days ago now at the time of recording, after Watkin failed to disclose her transgender status to the man, which meant he could not have given informed consent. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but if I were in a similar situation, I would want to know. Disclosure is very important, even if it's obvious that somebody is trans. The pair met over Snapchat, exchanging messages over a few weeks before meeting at a house in Thornaby. The court heard. After drinking and getting to know each other, the pair went to a bedroom where Watkin told the defendant she was on her period. Okay, preventing him from touching her below the waist as she performed S acts on him. A few days later, Watkin attended the victim's home, where further S activity took place. The victim's mother and friends had met Watkin and suspected she was trans. The court heard. Watkin then blocked all contact with the man, but eventually got back in touch with him before telling him via text that she was trans and had male genitalia. So Kiara fails to provide the information to the victim, which leads the victim to believe that it's consensual. And the victim's mother and friends suspect Kiara is trans. Now, this obviously could be genuine naivety of the particular victim. I don't know. Maybe Kiara can hide certain features well. But this is something that concerns me as a bigger objective, okay? Not just specific to this case, but I'll get to that in a moment. The victim, who was described as a naive young man, said the revelation left him feeling sick and told the police that he didn't swing that way. Watkin, who had no gender realignment surgery, wanted to be female from the age of 7, the court heard. She told the police she realised if the man believed she was trans, the relationship would have ended. The defence argued that Watkin had fooled herself into thinking that she had tricked the victim and made the admission to the police because she wanted to be seen as a woman. They added Watkin is so obviously male that the victim had to have known that she was trans. Judge Peter Makepeace KC said, "The defense say this is an accused person who has fooled herself into believing she successfully deceived him. She so wants to be female, she actually fooled herself." The judge added the defense had argued that the victim realized Watkins was trans from the outset and he had lied to avoid the ridicule of his friends. It's made perfectly clear in this that the victim is not gay, and it just shows this is why you need to disclose if that you are trans, whether or not it is obvious, because it could lead to something that is not consensual. Watkins should have obviously disclosed this, but they could have remained friends at the end of the day, but it is something that needs to be considered when pursuing a relationship. Even the defense has to make out it was obvious, but in this case, this is what the defense is paid to do. Anyway, continuing on. The judge further surmised that the defense's case as whatever Kiara might believe about successfully fooling him, she is so obviously male, he couldn't have been fooled. Sarah Nelson, senior Crown prosecutor at CPS Northeast, said, "It is clear from the evidence in this case that prior to engaging in S activity with the victim, Watkin had made no attempt to inform him of her transgender status. The Crown Prosecution Service has shown that by failing to disclose this to him, it would have not been possible for him to give informed consent to S activity. The victim has made clear in police interview that he would not have engaged in S activity had he known that Watkin was transgender, and consequently, these events have had a significant impact on his mental well-being. We hope that he can take some comfort from seeing Watkin convicted for these serious S offences today." So, in the eyes of the law, Watkin will be going to jail, according to this article, and is guilty. Now, those are the facts as from the article that's been reported, but I just want to discuss as a bigger picture rather than just focusing on this article. I see a lot of trans people not disclosing their identity online. People who are straight, or lesbian, or gay, or bisexual, whichever. And this creates a massive, massive uproar. You have to disclose this type of information because it is a form of consent and it can be seen in the wrong way, and it could create legal impact should you not choose to disclose this type of thing. And it's something that we have to remember as a broader objective, a broader thing here. But a lot of people seem to think that it's okay, and it's not okay. It really isn't. And another concern of mine is when things like these cases happen involving trans identified males or even trans identified women who are cross-dressing as women or cross-dressing as men in order to commit these crimes, then these get recorded in the wrong way. So in the case of trans identified men, they get recorded as she instead of he. And seeing as there's no law that I am aware of that would put them in the category of trans in the eyes of the law when it comes to reporting and putting it down as a statistic, we really should be identifying them as their biological sex in print. That's just an opinion, and that's not me being mean either, because you all know, if you've been here for a long time, what I think about gender dysphoria. I do believe it is a real thing, but there has to be a very clear differentiation between male crime and female crime, and I feel like when things get reported in certain ways, then you start to blur the lines, and I think it's very, very important to keep the lines 100% clear. I hope I made my point. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't chat about it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye. Thank you for watching today. Don't forget you can join me on my other platforms as well. I've got YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, X, TikTok, Instagram, Locals, Substack, and I also have a Discord. Everything is linked below.